Hey guys, welcome. It's snowing here in New England today. Actually, we're experiencing a blizzard, the worst snowstorm of the year so far, and I can't go anywhere, and I'm super bored, so let's do a build video. You guys asked for this, and here it is. Today's build is going to be with the NewBee drone AcroBee Kit. I ordered the whole kit so you guys can see exactly everything that comes with this. I'm going to do this build as a 4-part series. The first part that we're going to do today is we're going to take an in-depth look at all the parts and pieces, everything that this kit comes with, and give them all a close examination. In part number 2, we're going to actually build this little bugger. Part number 3, we're going to do software and testing, so we're going to get into beta flight. NewBee drone does actually provide custom firmware for these guys, so I want to take a look at that and compare it to whatever the default target is and see exactly what the differences are. And in the 4th part, it's going to be a couple weeks later. What I want to do is live with this guy for a little while. I'm going to make it my primary flyer for the next several days. And when I come back with the last part of this series, I'm going to compare the NewBee drone kit to one of my custom standard Tiny Whoop builds. We're going to look at pros and cons of both of those setups, and I'm going to give you my final opinion on the NewBee drone AcroBee. So why don't we get into this and we'll start taking a look at what exactly comes with the kit. So the first thing out of the gate is this really cool storage and travel box. It has a nice piece of foam on the inside of it so you can protect your whoop. And it also has cutouts for your batteries. I really like these boxes, so it's great that they include one. So let's just get this out of the way because we don't need it for right now. The kit comes with gold motors. I like the gold motors. It comes with a 2mm battery lead. It comes with a set of props. They give you the entire kit, 10 pairs. In this case, they included pink. I think they're going to look good with my frame selection. They include a colored cockroach frame, so that's pretty neat. And the thing that everyone is interested in is the BeeBrain version 2. This is the complete set with the flight controller, the VTX, and the camera. Why don't we get this guy opened up and we'll see what comes inside of here. But before we actually move forward and really digging into this stuff, I think I just want to mention that this kit comes in at about $99. That is a really good price point for everything that you get. It's totally worth it once you price out the controller. Versus buying everything a la carte is definitely the way to go if you're interested in building one of these setups. So look to the AcroBee kit and don't buy these things individual. Definitely get it all together. Well, let's get this thing open and take a look at what's inside of here. I like how they give you this nice plastic box. See if I can find an X-Acto knife. I like how they give you this nice plastic box. It keeps everything well protected. Most flight controllers aren't packaged this well, so that's definitely a bonus. Okay, after taking a knife, let's see if we can get this thing open. Oh, look at that, it's got another seal. Open, open, open. Sweet. Alright, let's get this thing out. So everything is pre-assembled for the most part. But I am going to remove the pieces so we can look at them. See what else we have. We have the grommets for the flight controller. Looks like we have a set of O-rings and screws. And look at this, they actually give you an extra one of each of these. That's pretty handy. Most companies give you the bare minimum, and if you drop one of these tiny little screws, it's very easy for it to disappear forever. That's cool, I like that. I think before I do take this apart though, I'm gonna go grab my scale and we're gonna weigh this and see what it comes in at. So give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, with the scale, the flight controller itself is coming in at about 9.5 grams, 9.6 grams or so. So what I'm curious of is what the overall weight is going to be. So once I have this guy fully assembled and built, we're going to throw it back on the scales and see what it comes in at. Hopefully we'll be around the 20 gram range, but I guess we're going to find out. So 9.6 grams on the stack, including the camera. I'm carefully going to try to disassemble this. It looks like there's a rubber band around it, and it might just be easiest to cut it. We're not going to need it in the long run, so let's just get it out of here. Okay, so it just flopped right off. No big deal. Let's lift the camera. We'll unplug it. Next we have the VTX. And it looks like it's seated on top of the flight controller. I'm carefully going to wiggle them apart. And here's the antenna. So the antenna itself is just literally like a thread. It's just a tiny motor wire. Let's take a look at our power connector. It's plenty long. So looks like that'll work. Hopefully we don't have to do any soldering. That's really cool. It would be really nice to be able to put this together without soldering. This would make it ideal for someone who's a beginner. It can be incredibly difficult to try to solder on to these tiny little pads. So let's weigh these individual components and we'll see what we're coming in at. Flight controller looks nicely built. Nothing looks out of place. We've got a button. I guess we'll have to figure out what that thing does. Our USB. Hopefully we can plug into that without having to disassemble anything. I think that's a big thing with these whoops, is being able to access the USB on them easily. Once you have the OSD set up, you typically don't need to go in there for tuning, but it can be a nuisance to have to take things apart to plug in. Well, let's get this on the scale. So the flight controller itself is 3.7 grams or so. We'll move it a little bit. Yeah, 3.7, 3.8-ish. We'll call it 3.75. Sound fair? So that's reasonable for the controller. Let's take a look at the VTX. This guy is pretty big. We'll see what it weighs with the antenna. 2.8. Move it around, see if it changes. 2.8, still 2.8. So about 2.8 grams for the VTX and the OSD. And the camera, I don't think I want to pop it out of its holder. So let's weigh it with its mount. 2.7-ish, 2.7 grams. We'll call it that. So all the individual components are fairly light. You know, of course, we're going to increase the weight of this once we have additional hardware and everything on there. But that's a great place to start. The kit itself comes with a set of gold motors. These are great motors, but we don't do things around here the normal way. We're going to ramp this up, and I actually have, look at this, the old unicorns. So instead of running the gold motors, we're going to try the unicorns in this. Hopefully these things have lots of power. I've pretty much exclusively have been running 7mm motors lately, so I'm curious to see how these are going to compare. I'm a big fan of the 7mm motors, so they've set a pretty high bar at this point. We'll see how these do. We'll go from there. Before we actually open this stuff, though, let's look at some of these other items, standard stuff. Here are the King Kong props. You get 5 sets of these, 0.8mm. They're pink. I think these things are actually going to look pretty good with the yellow frame. Let's open up these. Let's get some props out and take a look. In the long run, we're going to need 2 of each, so might as well just get them out now. Here are the props. Standard King Kong 3-blade. Hopefully these are going to help with the efficiency for the unicorn motors. So we're going to get those going in this build. Let's pop open the frame. We'll take a peek at this guy. I'm really impressed with the color on this. The color is very vibrant. I'm wondering if they're actually doing the coloring when they're doing the injection molding process. That would be a way better way to color these as opposed to the old dye job. I mean, the dye job does work, but the color just isn't this good. It's a very solid, vibrant color. That's about the best I can describe it. I mean, it looks nice, so we're gonna go with it. Let's rock it. And I think the piece de resistance, the item that everybody has been waiting for. Let's open up some of these motors. Okay, it looks like we have our standard wire colors. Red and blue for right-hand turn, and the white and black for the left-hand turn motors. And let's look at a size comparison. Right here, I have a MBD gold motor. And let's put them side by side. So the diameter is the same. They're still 6mm in diameter. But hopefully you can see how much taller the unicorn motor really is over the standard gold motor. So I really can't wait to get these things going. They look really nice too. Look at that finish on them. The finish is really cool. They're all slightly different. If I hold them up to the camera, you can see the finish on them. That's pretty neat, right? So there you have it. This has been the first part of the AcroBee BeeBrain version 2 build. I hope you guys were able to get some good info taking a look at these parts. So in the next part of this series, I'm going to actually be assembling the hardware for this guy. So make sure you check back for that. Maybe leave some comments. Let me know what you're thinking of this channel. Make suggestions. I'll do what I can to accommodate. Check me out on Instagram, @DerekandHisDrone. Make sure you click all the things, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.